I just realized I was skimming through the table read and I didn't get to look at a lot of you guys because I was looking at the script and watching some of you do your line reads. And I know a couple of them were happening in the moment, like it was spontaneous. Like Andrew, I'm sure it wasn't planned. When you all three, in perfect timing, by the way, which makes me feel even more confident about the movie, is the saggy slapping.
Yeah.
When you guys were like, ew, ew, and Andrew's like, ah.
Yeah.
Like, and just doing it different. I was just like, yeah. I was like, that. I was like, great. There you go.
Yeah.
It was like,
Yeah.
that's when you have people that like get it and like make good choice. Sorry, we're not even on the podcast. Yes.
Andrew's great. I think
We
he
can
started
edit this
that with
however we
saying,
want to edit it. This can be in it too. So we can go back and forward, and just because
uh,
we haven't said start doesn't mean we haven't started.
Oh,
That's right.
saggy
I think
slapping. I hope it makes you
Saggy
laugh.
slapping. We're gonna rename the movie to Saggy Slapping. While we're filming, that's what it's called on the
the
slate.
sounds of saggy
Saggy
clapping.
You're gonna have to send us that clip so now we can edit it into this so people have some idea what the hell
Oh,
we're talking about.
happily,
So we can do
happily.
da-da-da-da-da, whatever happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay. All right. Well, let's officially start it. I think we already have started, but officially, thank you for watching In the Spotlight. My name is Kyle Pierson.
And I am John Horton, and as you can see, we have a room full today.
A party,
We
if
have
you
a
will.
It's a mini reunion of sweetmeats. We've got Ricky Glore here. We've got Eileen Earnest here. We've got Timmy Barron here. And they are going to talk about their time on sweetmeats. But more importantly, they have something coming up, something that they are working on, something that they are crowdfunding. And they're going to tell us all about it. How you doing, guys? Thanks for
Oh my
being here.
God, that was Duck Dynasty Don Pardo. That was. They've got things coming up. They've got other things. Tell them what they've won, Jane.
That's a huge compliment.
Yeah, Duck Dynasty Don Pardo. It's also that sounds like a Stefan. Like they've got everything. They've got Duck Dynasty Don Pardos. Like, what's that? Yeah. Thank you so much for having us back on. Thank you also, John. John came to the premiere of Sweetmeats, documented some of it. One of the videos that is up on the NKY Films channel. You can see the mass hysteria of a sold out premiere in Clifton, Ohio of Sweetmeats. Thank you all for having us back on again.
We had so much fun. That was our first interview we had done in quite some time, so it was a great way to get back into it. We had a lot of fun, and we figured this out a little bit better, so we have a better setup going. I think last time the interview, you can only see one of us at a time, and we never got the whole big picture. Now we figured that out. We changed settings. So
And you got the
more...
elusive Nick Hyance last
yes,
time.
There we
like
go.
that's, I mean, Eileen and Timmy are clearly gets. I am an old hat. But
No. You are the jewel in the crown, the glue in the
butt crack.
Whatever the hell, the crack,
the butt crack of
That's
our
right.
community.
The meat in the sandwich. So
Okay, this is getting a little bit awkward here.
Wow.
So anyway, so Sweetmeats turned out to be this huge hit for you guys. You had sold out. Where?
I'm sorry,
tell
did you say hit or shit?
No, hit.
Okay,
Hit.
I was
I don't
just,
like shit.
both are true.
Yeah,
Both
yeah.
are true.
It's not a shit sandwich. I said sandwich earlier. Shit sandwich. That's a Spinal Tap thing. No, I said it sounded like it was a huge hit for you. You had sold out performances. Tell us about the success that you have seen from Sweetmeats. And
sorry. There unfortunately has not been, but the
What are you
one thing
talking
I
about?
will
True.
say,
what are you
That's
talking
not
about?
true. That's not true, Ricky.
no, but
True.
I'm going to clarify. Every screening that we are aware of that has happened, I have gotten fantastic feedback on Letterbox or people literally Instagram messaging or Facebook messaging, just being like, if this is the guy, if this is the Ricky Glore of Sweetmeats and blah 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 and all this, like I just saw this screening at my college and it was this thing called Schlockbuster, which me, Eileen, and Timmy, the commentary that's going to be on the future Troma Blu-ray release is curated by Schlockbuster for the the screening they did. So yeah, every screening has been fantastic. Would I like there to be more? Yes. I don't think that's going to be the life for. So here's the next life. Troma Now is going to be streaming Sweetmeats starting Thanksgiving Day. I cannot think of a better Thanksgiving movie dealing with family, food, friendship, and backstabbery.
And yeah, meat.
And me. Just good color. Timmy's not the best color commentator in the world for anything, folks.
Yeah.
So that is the next life of it is streaming, and that will answer one of the questions that I also do frequently get: where can I watch it? So besides a screener link or some festivals, which, hey, I will say this: we won Best Horror Film at Porto Fear Horror Festival, and that was a good lineup of other movies. And I was just like, "Oh, you mean horror comedy?" And they're like, "No, we just had the category Best Feature, and you all won, and you get a physical trophy. Where can we send the trophy?"
We get a thing.
So we get to. We will share it. Yeah, everybody gets it like a stepchild. Like we'll pass it around once a week.
That's a great way to keep us like coming back together just to hang out. It's like, guys, it's time to trade off the trophy. We have to get together for cocktails.
We have to go to a McDonald's at 2 p.m. to hand off the kids.
Here you go. Timmy's turn.
What movie is that? That's a Paul Reiser, Matthew Modine, Randy Quaid.
Bye Bye.
Yes, Bye Bye Love. Bye Bye Love. Yeah. Janine Garofalo steals the show. The blind date with her and Randy Quaid.
Oh, yeah.
It's a sketch that's stretched throughout the whole movie. Remember when Randy Quaid was an actor you could look at and like be like, they're enjoyable. And now you look at it and you're like, I don't know if they're well. Like that's
I'm actually surprised because he's on this circuit now with Chevy Chase for showings of Christmas Vacation. I'm like, okay, something must have changed again, because at one point I know there was video of him and his wife getting it on, wearing Halloween masks or something, and I'm like, okay, what happened to this guy? I know he played, an oddball. I didn't realize he was an oddball, but apparently he's bouncing back.
Yeah, I think he started taking his medication.
So something happened, but we wish you well, Mr. Quaid.
Yeah,
and we wish Sweetmeats well on this holiday season.
Yeah, the other huge success from Sweetmeats is that we're getting emails from Lloyd Kaufman, Uncle Lloyd Kaufman, the creator of the Toxic Avenger. He emails us encouragement. I say that's a huge success.
Mm-hmm.
Huge success.
Yeah. Just getting an email from him is a huge success, regardless what is in it. So,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
So I would like an email from him.
All reviews have been incredibly kind. Dread Central, Giallo Julian wrote a great review. Ben Nagy at Joe Bob Briggs Drive-In website, a fantastic review. Again, I look for bad reviews just to learn or just to hear a side of things. I'm just like, oh, okay. Oh, they didn't like that. I was just like, okay, interesting. I'm like, oh man, if they didn't like that, they probably aren't going to like this. It's going to happen later. And then by the end of their review, I'm like, oh yeah, they didn't like that either. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm sorry that like they picked our movie for their night of enjoyment, but it just sounds like from the beginning, they were not vibing with what we were selling.
Well, and I also feel like Sweetmeats is like the success of like a launching pad, a proof of concept. Like, so now that we're pitching, 2 movies, people are like, oh, they did a thing. They successfully did proof of concept. We get that they're a quirky vibe of Misfit toys. We want more Misfit toy, and great. Like, so we can go, see, that's the thing we did. And now we want to do more of it.
That's a good way to phrase it. Misfit toys.
Yes.
I do question hubris on my own of just being like that. And what doesn't help is also like watching plenty of different attic shows where I'm just like, look, but maybe it's not because there's people like Eileen and Timmy who keep on supporting me, but like, God, those attic shows, they have a good tight knit group of people that keep supporting them too.
True.
I always worry because I'm the type of guy who I want real criticism. I don't want someone to kiss my ass. But also, I think the second somebody says, I really don't like the way you do something, that would just, I would get in the
Yeah.
under my skin and drive me crazy forever. I would always think, I'm like, okay, am I doing that now? How do I not do it? Oh my God. And I don't know how, when you put yourself in that position, how you can get over it.
I
mean,
think
I
that
know
the
you're
three
supposed
of
to learn
us,
from it.
something the three of us have in common is Timmy literally said this the other day, but I believe each of us uh, believe this is I don't want to say no to something or criticize something or be against it until I have an alternative. And that is, I think, a big mantra of even what we're doing and what we're continuing to do, and why I think the team that you see here, why I think it works in Sweetmeats. Also, this is the platform for you guys now to tell Timmy and Eileen how much you love them in that movie because you told us last time. Now you can tell them. But I think that alchemy of us being like, okay, even if something isn't working or it's not connecting, I think we all, whether it's that improv background or we're all working towards the grander picture. So maybe we check our egos a little bit, but we also know what our talents are. So we want to make sure that we're focusing and letting those shine. I think we all have that in common. And then I think that band of gypsies that we've started to acclimate, like, and put together over the years, whether they're from me as a kid growing up with friends, with high school, with college, with Chicago, with coming back to Cincinnati, like, I have been really fortunate to get to see really high levels of talent, whether it's Eileen or Timmy, and be like, hey, there's this thing I want to do. Do you guys want to play in that sandbox? And again,
Yeah.
luckily, they continue to say yes.
And Kyle, to push Ricky in the back seat for a second, he said he was going to let us drive, but
I'm done.
I'm just sitting here.
I'm turning my microphone.
But I'm kidding. I love you, Ricky. But Kyle, to talk about what you're saying is that, like, if you're going to be creative, if you're going to get up and put something together that people are going to see, like, you can't take anything personally. Everybody's going to have like some thought. Not everything that's made is made for everyone. So there's going to be criticism. There's going to be things people don't understand. And I think that's what separates a lot of artists from a lot of people who don't do it is just it's so easy to be crippled by fear of what people are going to think or by criticism that comes, and to not let it get under your skin. It's just like you move on to the next thing. You go on to the next day. You're only as good as your last at bat. It doesn't matter what anybody, like, if you make stuff for what people are going to think or for the approval of others, it's just it's not worth it, in my opinion. But if you make something that you love, that you're having fun making, you're only going to get better the more you do it, so it's a series of people being negative or criticizing that makes an artist better at what they do, that makes not just an artist, anybody better at what they do. So there.
I would like to share the moment that I fell in love with Timmy.
Just now.
Yeah.
I hated him up until, and then that big speech won me over. We all slow clapped.
Yeah. So Timmy and I were off on set for Sweetmeats, and they were doing some sort of group scene, and we were just shooting the shit in the green room. And I had said something like, I just love when you finally get to do a thing, like, because so many people sit around and they never do the thing. And Timmy was like, me too. I just love being a part of it. And I was like, yeah. And it was that, like, collective joy of, we're doing the thing. Even if it's a shitty thing, there are thousands of people who never get past the drawing room, who never get past like, hey, we're gonna talk. Don't you want to do this thing? Let's do this thing, and then it fizzle farts and goes away.
Yeah,
And-
fizzle farts.
yes. And
I've used that
Ricky-
word before.
Yes, and
You would,
Ricky
John.
and Timmy, they do the thing, and that's why
Dynasty Don Pardo.
I'm 100% on board for whatever, because I'm like, one, I know that they are as committed as I am. We are not going to retire on Sweetmeats. We're not. But you know what? We do have the collective trauma of Sweetmeats. And that has glued us for friendship forever. And so I'm like, yes, you're doing something else. I'm on board. I'm
100%.
absolutely on board. And so when somebody's like, oh, that's not my brand, I'm like, that's okay. It's mine. And we're making it.
And it's
Right.
it's very encouraging, like just to tie back, like making these connections. That is helping us discover our brand, finding the voice. Like everybody here is a comedian, Eileen, Timmy, and myself. Finding your voice in comedy and finding the quote unquote Sharon, truth in comedy. I love being in college and being in high school and getting truth in comedy, and then like taking it to Chicago and seeing my first Improv Olympic show in the basement on Clark Street, and then seeing her sit at the bar, and then like literally I had the moment of Sharon Halpern. I looked at the back of the book of Truth in Comedy, which is beaten up, sitting in my satchel bag, and I look at her picture, and I'm like, I think that's her, but it kind of looks like a funhouse mirror version of her. And I was like, this would be really cool to approach her and say, like, I love your book and blah, blah, thank you for doing this. And so I went up to her, and like, it was her, and she was very personable. And she's like, if you're not signed up for classes, she's like, here's the web address and blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, yeah, of course. But no, that's everybody here, us figuring out what our voice is fuels in Sweetmeats, and then it fuels for, like Eileen was saying, like the next two projects of doing heart and humor and being like, well, what genre are we doing? So that's the question, is we're going to do a genre, and what's the weirdly humanistic, absurd, satirical, extremely grounded soap opera. I mean, Eileen calls them blue collar misfits.
Yeah, I do.
Wait,
loves
before we
that.
move on,
Yeah,
I'm
no,
sorry,
not
before
moving,
we
yeah.
move on from that, I wanted to say something because we mentioned, this is our shitty thing, right? We're making our shitty thing, and reviews that are shitty about whatever thing we're making or whatever. I do just want to make the point that the movie Titanic, which won so many Oscar awards, has more shitty reviews than Sweetmeats.
That's
I just
There you
want
go.
to say, and the Titanic itself had great reviews, and that fucker sunk.
that's
So-
true. Oh my
so-
God! Look at the
Deep
perspective you
truth
just threw
from
at me.
Timmy
There you go.
Barron.
There you
Oh
go.
my! Wow!
Sorry, I
Wow.
had to get that in. Yeah, there we go.
My
I
favorite,
gotta
to, to go with genre, one of my favorite things is the first time at my local theater, the Titanic poster was put up, and we were unaware of what this movie was. It was a poster back in my day, the internet, 1999. This is the year that a big year in film. You have Phantom Menace, you have Matrix, you have Titanic. It's a new movie by James Cameron, right? And True Lies, T2, Aliens. The Titanic poster is the blue sky poster of them up in the clouds embracing each other, and then the boat. The original top tagline said, from the guy who brought you Aliens and Terminator 2. And I was like, Titan. I was like,
That was
what
really?
is this story? I was like, this dude came from Corman. We might see some robots. We might see some aliens on this ship. Like, this shit is going to be wild. And then it ends up being this like saccharine, earnest biopic
Yeah.
manipulation of feelings and just
Yeah.
perfect popcorn cinema. And yeah, my wife included, Allie, I think she said she saw that movie 12 times in the theater.
Mm.
She is someone who's never, like, indulge that much in one thing. So
Yeah.
that is just the cultural significance. But I love that poster.
I mean,
because, again,
every man of our generation, Ricky, those were probably our first boobs and butt.
not mine, sir. I was watching horror movies at way too young of an age. I saw a lot of things before Titanic.
I just need to point out they weren't mine.
Yeah, not my boobs and butt.
But yeah, no, I saw a part of that movie about 30, 40 times.
Sure. tape 2 or whatever.
I mean, that was right at puberty, man.
Yeah.
Was it the old couple on the bed as they flooded the room? Is that the part
Yeah,
that
was
really
was
got
that
you?
the like,
The
I can
first
watch
ever
that again.
documented
the
water
water
bed.
is rising around him.
His-
If the boots are rocking.
It was when that guy got nailed by the propeller.
Oh, fuck
Oh.
yeah. Oh, dude. When the boat goes up like this and that dude's just like Wilhelm scream like, like, it's amazing.
And then boing.
Yeah. This director definitely directed Terminator.
Yeah.
You have not lived until you've seen the live stage version of Titanic, because they also tilt the boat and they're all singing while they are dying. It is beautiful.
One of my college theater professors, who was my acting to movement class, which I think we all here took acting classes, acting to movement, where you do the life of a tree, where you are a paintbrush, you're doing Stanislavski, it's method, right? Ugh. Mark Hardy, who was my teacher for that at NKU, was in the original Broadway production of Titanic.
Wow.
Oh.
Did he hit the propeller?
Oh, he hated that. He hated that show. He was such
Talking
not
about
a
so many
fan.
movies that aren't ours. That's so fun for us.
Yeah, I apologize for derailing us into Titanic.
That's all right. I
you
think
really
our
hit
last
an
interview-
iceberg with that one.
I
Timmy.
really sunk the boat there.
That's what I love about this group, because we knew this was going to happen. Because the first time, again, like I was saying, John and I were trying to figure out, like, okay, we haven't done this in a while, and how are we going to go about this?
How do we ask him
And
questions?
it was kind of like
just
a
press
Robin Williams
record.
situation. You just
Yeah.
ask a couple questions and then you sit back,
Yep.
and they just went, and we're like, okay, well, this is the way to do it. So no, we love this, because we love the unexpected, and you make your life easier.
I was gonna say this is the easiest interview we've done yet.
Hey, by the way, it's good to see you again, John. I remember meeting you at the Sweet Meats premiere.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I can't believe I'm actually talking to the guy from Sweet Meats. My God, you're so much more intelligent in real life.
Yeah, I am. I'm good at faking it in real life. Yes.
So since it was brought up for us to tell you in person what we thought of the performances, we probably should do
Strap
that.
the fuck in. You're about berated, about told how bad you were.
You said you wanted the truth. You're going to get the freaking truth. All
My
right.
love language is words of affirmation.
Yeah.
we John and I made the mistake of saying we would review it and then agreeing to interview. And we're like, oh shit, if this movie sucks, we can't lie. We could probably act our way through it, but what are we going to do?
Yep,
Yeah.
I've done that. I had to do that.
And the
We've all
premise
done
of Sweet Meats sounded unique. Okay, it's a horror comedy musical, and we're like, oh, what are we getting into? And I love horror comedies, Return of the Living Dead, anything like that is my cup of tea. I prefer oddball stuff like The Burbs. That's to me a good mixture of horror and comedy. But this one, I'm like, this is independent. It's crowdfunded. Okay, at the very least, we can say that they made their dream come true, because so we're coming up with all this thing that we can do. People were backing it.
Fucking love this preamble.
Yeah.
Have you heard that, like, the most basic thing that you can say to somebody in theater at, like, on a stage show is like, you looked like you were having fun.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And he saw it separately from me. I saw it with my wife, and my wife was like, "Oh Jesus!" Because I make her watch, some shit. Usually things I'm in. My stuff is.
Oh yeah.
And so we're sitting there, and we, we're laughing here, and we're like, oh my God, that's kind of funny. And that's really funny. And then then some big laughs start happening. I'm like, and we turn to each other like, well, so far it's not bad. We might actually get through this whole thing. And there was some scenes in that thing where we laughed so hard and we're like, man, this is funny. And then it was so well done because we know that you all do a lot of improv. And I'm looking at stuff and I'm like, there's this, and I even brought it up in the last interview. I said, there's this subtle thing where Eileen, you put your hand on them and you're like counting or something. I'm like, that's got to be,
They
improv.
swore that was improv.
Yeah, and I'm like, this can't be because it just felt like things were just running so smoothly. It didn't feel acted. It felt like you were having a good time up there. but no, and we're like, I think this is really, it just felt like this couldn't be really scripted. It had been ad-libbed. It was really fun. We really enjoyed it. And then he's like, no, that actually was scripted. And no, this was scripted. And, this is really what we were setting out to make. And I was genuinely impressed. Absolutely loved it. And both of us, and I remember when John and I came back on, we're like, whew, okay, let's do this interview because it's actually good. So that was my take. John, you can confirm or tell me that I'm full of shit.
Well, you are full of shit, but you should hear this guy sometimes. He gets on these rants about how they're making their dreams come true. Makes me feel guilty for saying this movie's a piece of shit. But I have on the side another YouTube channel where I review movies that even Kyle won't watch. And I do have a section on there called God, what the hell do I call it? It's been a while since I've done one.
It's not the one.
What a piece of shit review.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
And I'm literally sitting on the toilet reviewing a movie because it's so bad.
I love that, John.
And he's not just sitting on the toilet. The worse the movie, never mind.
The bigger the dump, the longer until you flush it.
Yeah, I'm sitting there. I'm like, you're kind of hurting our credibility on the other show.
I was blown away by Sweet Meats because I thought the same thing. It's Troma, it's crowdfunded, it's a horror comedy musical. I don't know about this. And I was also freaked out. This movie, if we don't like it, and he says, "What'd you think?" We're fucked.
Yeah.
But wow, it was so well done. I was pissed off when Timmy, your character, got killed. I was genuinely mad. I was like, come on.
I love it.
I was in love with Eileen, especially when she was doing the singing. One of the things that I watch a lot of independent films, and one of the things that always gets me is the level of acting in these. Some of them are good. Some of them are pretty damn good. Some of them are pretty bad. There are a few standout performances that don't even feel like you're acting anymore. Like you guys in Sweet Meats, that didn't feel like acting. That felt like genuine, this is how you are.
Yeah.
There's another actor that
No, I get what you're saying. But like there are some great moments where I think what Eileen and Timmy are really good at is finding that natural entry level point of being like, well, I know who I am, but what if I was this little askewed, a little unhinged, or like a thought, like had a perspective or a different upbringing? I mean, I can't speak to how you guys build a character. I just know what you've each talked about with Laddie, with Jerry, and then now with where we're at with these movies. Like I know our discussions one-on-one, but I think they ultimately are very, very honest because the way that you bring your own self to them. I don't know I don't if that's stupid to say, but like you are so still a part of who you are that I know me as a viewer, I think it's electric on the screen because I'm just like, oh my God, like yeah, Eileen as Laddie is like such
So good.
like just so charismatic. It's just like, yes, tear this all down, own this, like build it up, queen. Like it's just like, to me, like it is wish fulfillment Macbeth, because Lady Macbeth doesn't get shit on at the end of just like, nope, and because women are hysterical and like they need to be like, they can't have too much power, they go crazy. It's just like, nope, laddie, this is exactly what she wants, and she gets it at the end, even down to that. Again, the one improv thing I think we mentioned last time, but to bring it up, the two ships passing in the night, but you guys connecting with Timmy and Eileen, is Timmy developed this banana story that had its own story arc in a music video at the end, but also has this like weird saccharine like sincerity and sweetness to it. But Eileen had been introduced to this banana story on set because we're like, hey, all right, so Timmy, we can't, like, Timmy came up with this banana story and we think it works in the narrative and doesn't like upstage it, like it's its own thing, and he's going to be in control of the continuity and blah 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 blah. I don't remember what your response was, Eileen. Do you remember?
Well, I
when
didn't know there was an entire music video for it.
And there wasn't, yeah, there was a song, but we didn't know where that song was going to go.
Well, I said, because he was holding a banana, and I said, what's with the banana? And he said, it's part of the story arc. And I was like, okay.
And as simple as that.
But I mean, so at the end, when we get to that final scene, we talk about improvisations that aren't in the script. So like the hand holding of like the 1 millisecond, 2 millisecond, whatever thing, that was scripted. But Eileen at the end, after spoiler, Jerry is killed by Eileen. Eileen was like, does Jerry have the banana on him?
Yep.
And I said, I don't know, Timmy. Remember when we said, if you're going to do this banana thing, you need to know the continuity? I was like, do you have the banana on you, dead Jerry, who is on the floor? And he was just like, yeah, I have the banana.
Of course I do.
Always.
Of course I do. Yeah.
And so we tracked it like how you see it in the movie. Yes, he does. He didn't ever get to open the next banana after he dropped the other one that he did open. He flew so close to the sun. Again, that's another trip I love. Like people getting a little bit of what they think is their dream, but the dream's just like, hey, buddy, like you can have that. Like, you know, like that doesn't need to be like your Montezuma. Like you could, or like you don't have to.
I would just like to interject that my my journey arc was, how can I ruin everyone else's journey?
Because that is, you're not even ruining their journey. You are just stripping them down to being like, again, Faustian of just like, I'm going to offer you a deal, but no, like Bobby is a paper doll. That's why we do those paper dolls in the interstitials. So you are literally stripping him down. But at the end, when you were like, okay, he has the banana. Can I, after killing him, raise up my mask, bend down, pick up the banana, open it with ease, and you're like, I'll get it in one take. Timmy's like, I have 5 bananas on set just in case. So we can do it 5 times, the most things we've ever done. One take, you're like, I'll do it in one. Because that was one of the few times you were in the butcher's outfit. Every other time is me.
There were a couple of extra times I was in there unnecessarily.
Yes, 100%. We're learning. And
I want to clear the record about the banana. Hold that thought, Ricky.
Yeah.
I never came up with a story arc for the banana, by the way. I think you might have when I said there's a banana, and then Nick Hyance, I only imagine him going, what, a banana? We didn't talk about this. And you're like, there's a whole story arc, trust him. So I'm not sure where the story, I mean, it ended up fitting.
I'm telling you, came in and you said, I really want to work in a banana. And you sold it to me. And I said, if you can make
maybe I did. But for me, I was like, Jerry's goal in life is just to open up a banana and enjoy it. Like that's what he's shooting for in life.
Yeah.
Right.
It's sweet.
He does. Yeah. It's sweet.
It's Chaplin-esque. of like,
makes it worse.
yeah, but that's why I want it to feel so bad. So you again in that take, it completely improvised. You're like, can I do that? And I'm like, yep, however you do it. I'm like, and I'm in the scene, so like I'm gonna react the way I think, however I'm gonna feel, because I'm not cool. Like Bobby wasn't cool enough to not let his sister kill her brother, but like when you took that bite and then just chucked it at Timmy, and like seeing where it hit Timmy, which was square in the nards, was so good. And Timmy was just like, like getting hit. And like in this, like my reaction was just like, oh, you're cold.
Oh yeah.
Like you're so cold. Like I've made a terrible mistake. So that's when then the next scene, to Nick Hyance's credit, we had never filmed at the golden hour at that angle at the giant cross stained glass at Nick's restaurant. That was just there. We didn't plan that. We just built off it. That final scene is literally the golden hour as the sun is setting behind Bobby, and like he's making that final agreement, and then it goes into the devil is a woman I know. Every time I'm just like, man, everyone's gonna be like, this is real ham-fisted, like after school special, like Sunday school. But then the amount of people that were just like, this is weird. And I'm just like, oh, really? Because to me, this kind of feels just like like a story, that like a cautionary tale.
That is a good point. When you're editing this together and you're putting in the songs and you're taking, and you're looking at this thing develop, and you're realizing, this is going in multi-directional storytelling, and do you ever feel, okay, am I going too far? Do I just pull it back? Do what's the thought process on whether or not you're going to, because how many songs are in this? There were,
Oh, Sweetmeats,
it
it's
feels
a
like
full
like a
soundtrack.
dozen.
That's wherever you get your music, Spotify, Apple, wherever. That's not a plug. We're not making any dollars. Um, gosh, it's a full soundtrack. I think it's 12 songs, including a couple instrumentals from we put together as a couple tracks. There's hopefully going to be a vinyl release, which is
Oh, that'd
honestly
be cool.
the way that this should be done, is because even based off the album artwork, we used a picture of Eileen and I from the shoot after I had to get repainted from her dad's spray of blood on my face. What a great night. That album is such an homage and a love letter to Any Which Way You Can, Smokey and the Bandit 2, those soundtracks, that country rock of those times. So on vinyl would be amazing. Yeah, I think there's like 12 songs. Like in like those albums, there's two instrumentals of David Kornfeld score, which I love the score in that.
But when you guys were putting it together, did you think that were you worried that it wasn't going to work by breaking it up and jumping back and
Hy
forth, or
Hyance was. So Hyance, he wanted to do the first edit, and he was we don't have a lot of takes. Timmy and Eileen can contest to this. We do 3 max of a take. I can't think of anything really being done that many more times.
Yeah, no, it's
So
quick.
we don't have a lot of extra footage because we're like, this is what we need, and we're going to move on. Like, if we didn't get it, then we're going to have to figure that out in editing. Not like like, we'll figure it out in editing, just like, we'll figure it out. We got it. We got the roadmap. Um, with, as far as like, are we pushing it too far? So Hyance did the first 20 minutes. And so we have this wraparound, and we have this storybook. And I think what was really hard for him was he wasn't getting the how straightforward it was. And I know we say how far you can push it and how weird it is, but it is so straightforward, like almost to I think that is why, if anybody feels that I hate talking about this in this grandiose, if anybody feels that Jerry's death hit so hard at the end, or if you feel like, yay, I'm glad Maddie, yeah, Maddie just had to kill the men in her life. She had to kill her dad, kill her brother.
Laddie, this one's Laddie.
Sorry, Laddie. Sorry, thank you.
I never noticed that.
Oh no, I
No.
did.
Yeah, that's funny.
Remember, Rad Dad? You were gonna be Terry or Rad
Oh
Dad.
yeah.
Terry,
I never made that
Jerry.
connection either. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh no,
Yeah.
it's I name things real quick. But so like with that feeling of like, oh, I'm so sad that like Jerry is gone. Like anything that helps or aids that along the run when it came to editing, I don't think Nick was getting that. And so after the first 20 minutes, which to me, we had all the footage dummied down so we could share amongst smart devices. That's a little indie filmmaking tip. Like if you have Apple to Apple, you can drop footage, dummied down footage, and then you can do an assembly edit on like apps like Splice.
I love that game. Apples to apples.
So turns out when Heinz hit a roadblock after 20 minutes, which gets us in the first bit of in the past after the wraparound, after the giant turd, he's like, I don't know where this is going. Like, I don't see like what the pacing of this is. He sent me all the footage, and while I was in the hospital with my wife giving birth to our twin boys, Gus and Paul, I finished the rest of the assembly edit on the Splice app on my phone using the dummy down footage. I was like, well, it's this. And then Heinz was like, yeah, it is that. He's like, yep, that's it. All right. Like, enjoy the birth of your sons and like everything that's going on. And I'll talk to you in 2 weeks, and we'll get together and we'll sit down and we'll shape this. We'll give the specifics to it. But as far as losing anything, the one thing that I'll say this quick, the Timmy scene with it's the John Belushi scene from Animal House, which Timmy and I don't think you and I ever discussed that. That is the Bluto scene where they're like, no, he's on a roll. That is the Jerry scene in the back of the restaurant where he's like, what if someone told like Lee Harvey Oswald not to, did he kill Ken? Yeah, he killed Ken. Like that scene,
Oh,
that the way that revs up is modeled after Animal House. But so
the Hitler one.
yeah, so when we were editing it, Heinz is like, I don't know if I like doing a Nazi Hitler joke. And I was just like, well, we didn't do the take that was Timmy. We did 3 takes. We did small, medium,
No,
and large.
Joe Biden was still president at this time, so everybody was super fucking sensitive about Hitler. Am I allowed to cuss on this?
Yeah, you can do whatever you want.
Okay, Hitler.
Yeah. This isn't going on TV.
No, I love that you said this is when Joe Biden was president, so people were sensitive about Hitler. You knew what you were saying, you son of a bitch.
I think it's funny.
But anyway, the talking about editing down or like losing something, he's like, I don't know that I even like making a joke in this direction. And I was like, I hear you, but like being the comedian, like Heinz is very, very extraordinarily funny and has written way more things, jokes and things in these movies that on the set, on the day of, that are things that are attributed to me all the time where I'm just like, nope, that was a Heinz. Like that is a Heinz. The Nazi scene, I was just like, it needs, if it's 3, we can't lose this. There's too much information. We need the scene. And I just don't know how we lose the rule of 3 and where it goes and how it escalates. So I was like, okay, what if we show it to your wife, Kelsey, who will give us her honest opinion, like 100%. She will not hold back if we ask her. So we're like, all right, come in. We're like, watch this scene. Tell us whatever you think at the end of it. We're not going to give you any more, any less. She watched the scene and we're like, what did you think? And she's like, honest opinion. And I was just like, honest opinion. And she's like, honestly, the editing is really bad. I feel like that it's not very smooth. It's choppy. It feels like characters, like the continuity of where they're at in between takes. She's just like, it just is really jarring. And so Hyatt and her just like, okay, thanks. But like content wise, anything? She's like, no, she's like, content wise, fine. And we're just like, funny? And she's like, yeah, of course. And we're like, offensive? And she's just like, no, he's a moron. Like, clearly the scene is about him being a moron, but like an unabashed, like, cheerleader moron. Like, she's like, right? Is that what you're going for? She's like, can I leave now? And we're like, yeah, because it's like midnight in his house. And we're just like scratching our heads. And you're like, yeah. And we're just like, okay. So the scene stays the way it is, but we now have to spend the next 2 hours tightening this and going through what we have and making it work better. So yeah, that story is no, we didn't really lose. I mean, do you guys remember anything that we shot that you're like, oh, I thought that was going to be in there because that was killer?
Well, we didn't. It was a concept, and we didn't do it. I wanted the montage of slicing people's body parts and then serving them in the restaurant.
Yes.
And we didn't get that.
We got the smallest of the variations with the porksicle.
Yeah.
That was in post of going, which we had the offer. Nick's restaurant, he was like, I have a bunch of uncooked meat that it's weird looking, like, before you cook it. Do you want to come in and get some B-roll? And we were like, okay, with that, we would get the 45 vinyl albums that we reference appearing, like, on the shelf. We would cut to that. We would see the breast, the chicken breast sandwiches, the eyeballs or whatever, all of that, the fingers. And after the assembly edit that I did in the hospital, Heinz is like, yeah, that's the movie. And I was like, yeah. It would cost us time. Does this make the movie better?
Yes.
Look, we've learned Eileen is right.
Always listen to the woman.
Yeah.
Always
just
listen to the female in the room.
Eileen, do you think that would make it, like, do you think it elevates the tone that is there to just be like, oh, and that's fun to see, like, these ridiculous, like, oh, the people are now eating things that, like, clearly look like human body parts?
Yes, because I think it would have more clearly established how long it's been going on.
A time narrative.
Yeah, it would have been like, oh, this has been like a commitment. So then we would have seen the passage of your crisis of faith and my down spiral to madness.
I also then lean on. It's a Golden Leaf children's book. A lot of the the big stuff is kind of omitted. Like when you look at the Little Mermaid Golden Leaf book, they get rid of all the heavy stuff. Like they're just like, man, she wants to have legs. She had legs. Oh man, that octopus was evil. Oh, now she doesn't have legs anymore. Oh, but now she's with the prince and true love's kiss and we're good now and stuff. No father story.
I was surprised that nobody's review was like, did nobody clock that all of that shit was in that book that he was reading to a child?
It's princess. Look, it's the princess. It's Princess Bride. Like it is 100% that wraparound. And I'm not even a lover. I'm not like a William Gold. Like I don't get off the Princess Bride like a lot of Hot Topic people do, like of our generation.
I love it. There is one thing I can think of that did not get in. Maybe two things.
Oh.
Maybe it was 4.
Oh, maybe it's 127 things.
It was either 2 or 4. Well, now that I think about it, it could have been 6.
God damn it. You give him an inch. It's if you give a mouse a cookie.
Well, it's you can help clear this up for me. It's either 2 the boobs. the boobs are in the script. There are boobs in the script.
There are boobs. Whose boobs? The
Cheerleader-
cheerleaders?
cheerleaders, right? So that would have been 6, right?
God damn it. And you make it a math joke. That was, yes, that was a discussion pre even Troma being involved. And this is a
It
joke
was a
thing.
good move. It was a good move.
Well, we didn't know how much Troma, like if Troma is buying it, that they could make any decision they want. And so one of the things Hyatt and I were just like, they could re-edit our movie. Like they could do whatever they want with it. I was like, huh.
They could hire any boobs that they wanted.
Well, and we were like, when would we so stupidly, with now knowing like how it works, we were like, oh man, how would they take initiative to rework and spend time and re-edit this if they wanted to change it? Like, oh, they don't, and they wouldn't because they
would
will
just
not
put
do
Lloyd
that.
in there somewhere.
Yeah, but I mean,
Already
Lloyd
did.
is in there. I mean, he's
Right.
Lloyd Duckwood. He's already in the movie.
That's
Um,
right.
But we were like, so Heinz and I were like, if they wanted to add boobs, where could they? Oh, where Laddie has sex with Bobby in the closet. And I think I even text Eileen. We're like, like Heinz and I were talking about, like, what if they wanted to add boobs? Like, oh, but this is one of the only places, like like the cheerleaders. Yeah, you could cut to a pair of boobs. But we're like, the closet scene is the only thing we could think of, like of where they could do it. And I was like, and they could do that. And like, never was a thing that even happened, even came close to happening. Like the only note that they ever gave was we sent them a demo of the trailer and it didn't show us singing in the trailer at all or a song.
Mhm.
And Lloyd texts back and he was just like, I think if you're going to say if it's a horror musical comedy, you should show some music. And we were like, that is a valid note, Lloyd.
Good note.
Yep. We should do that.
He's a wise man.
Yes.
So boobs, we talked about at the end of the day, those were 3 actresses that one was a Playboy Playmate of the month. There was an OnlyFans model and there was a burlesque dancer. All would have been fine who had agreed to, if they needed to, be topless. And Heinz and I were just like, why? We're like, we get what's going on. Like, and also Laddie is the killer and what she's gonna rip off their top. I mean, what she does is enough for the audience. Like,
Mhm.
I don't think she would then titillate the audience. Like, I don't know. That's just a different thing that we're just like,
Well, I got to say, from a male perspective who used to be a teenager. When I was a teenager, I went for one thing.
Yeah.
Now that I'm sitting and watching a movie with my wife, I prefer not to have certain things in a movie because I'm like, okay, so it really kind of changes your perspective. And now when I watch, some of the movies I used to watch, I'm like, they really kind of went all, I don't think this was necessary. In some movies,
which is a great thing. You are now forced to consider somebody else,
yeah, and
right?
when,
And so
yeah.
even in filmmaking, we're considering somebody else watching it, where we're just like, does that, again, a question we ask a lot, and I know we are going to be biased on this choice for the future projects for everything, is narratively, does this choice make sense?
Mhm.
And we're like, we don't like the feeling of being like, yeah, get naked. The only nudity that almost happened in Sweetmeats, and I think we talked about this when it came to me and the Whitey Tighties, was I was just like, maybe she strips him so far down that we see Bobby just naked, like literally just naked. And I was just like, Eileen doesn't have to be in the scene, but it's part of In Front of the Cross. Like, and then we were just like, no, like that doesn't, like, the movie would be he's in whitey tighties and high ankle like that is the movie, like that is the narrative, that
If you
is
were
the
sitting
story.
there naked but holding the banana and trying to, then
That's
the whole thing could have come full circle.
yeah.
And you could have had some, but yeah, because I look at it from 2 different ways. Not just because, yeah, You go from being, a horny teenager to a married man. But I also think like if I was on the production myself, I I personally would have trouble saying, okay, I want you to get undressed for this
Yeah.
scene. Or I'm like, you don't, you don't need to tell the story. And, depends on the story you're telling. But for this one, it's a comedy, it's a horror. It doesn't have to be a sex romp at the same time. And I liked it the way it was, and I think if you'd put that in there, it would have been one of those moments where I was like, and I think that would have been more distracting. I know other people probably were like, oh my God, let's see it, let's put it in. But for me anyway, I was like, don't do that because
the only reason it hurts, I mean not hurts, but is a trauma audience would, I think, grow to expect it. That is part of the script. It's part of the language. It's just inherent with what you're going to be watching. So one of the nice things in the reviews that has not been an overdig is just like, man, this is the classiest trauma movie that we have ever seen. Like, it is very, like, it's got a lot going on. Like, it is a vaudevillian, just like circus. Like, and we got thrills, we got chills, we got music, we got this, and da 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 da. But I would ask Eileen, like, as far as what we have gone for and with All Your Friends Are Dead or Sweetmeats, at any point did you question, oh, I wonder if these guys are going to expect or ever ask this of the actresses?
Well, I think because I already had a personal like friendship with you, I knew like if you were going to ask something, you were going to ask me before it was like in anything.
Yeah.
And you already kind of knew where my lines were, so I don't think that was ever a question. I think just by the nature of a lot of the things we do, women are in the minority in the creative process and also, in the casting, which is not a dig on anything, but I do feel like you check the temperature and then you're like, wait, have we missed something here? And not that I am representative of every single woman on the planet, but in our circle, I think that it's important to like have those conversations because again, it's our misfit toys, not, well, it's a trauma film. It's just tits and ass. And I'm like, cool, but that's not the movie we're making. So like, that's fine, but this is what we can offer you. And if that's not the thing that people are going to be excited about, then that's okay. But there are other films that they can go to then.
Yeah. There's multitudes of outlets, and that's what Heinz and that is exactly what where Heinz and I end up. We're just like, if that is what you're looking for, look out. Like, may I suggest?
Yeah, go to the internet.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for derailing the conversation into boobs this time.
This
That's okay.
time.
I had to catch up on Wordle, so you guys are good.
I always feel that what I think is if you're going to do female nudity, at this point, you probably should just put male nudity in there too. So if you're going to do it, make it even for both sides and say, okay, we're not going to be one-sided about it. Just stick it in there.
Yeah.
And I feel like you did, because we talked about the scene about me, and I was like, I don't want to force you in that way of like stripping you down. You were down to clown, and I was more like, I don't know, because I already was like the consent of dragging you into the broom closet to get her sexy on was like, okay, I feel like that's her line. Like she's still flattering. She's still trying to coerce you into things. And I feel like emasculating you in that way would have been like,
it's so funny when people, and I have heard people like me as their favorite character, people like Pizza Guy. People love
Yeah.
Pizza Guy. There's been like Team Timmy, there's been Team Eileen, there's been Team me. It blows me away that I'm just like, Jerry. Anybody who is not Team Jerry is fucking a sociopath. And I'm even saying to you guys, you love Eileen. Like Eileen, like what you love of Laddie is Eileen. And what you love of Jerry is Timmy, like by proxy or an exaggeration, like all of us. But like people that are just like, yeah, you know what? I really connected with Bobby and hit this and blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, he's threatened by his friend who's more talented than him and is willing to give up like who he is just to like have a facsimile of a thing that he has been trying to reach, like, or achieve. And I'm just like, he's a terrible person. And then anybody who's just like, yeah, Laddie, like, she, like, I'm just like, oh, she is crazy. Like, the worst thing that I think that what do you think is the worst thing that Laddie does?
Me?
Eileen. Yeah.
Eat the banana.
Really? Oh my God, it plays.
Not just a bite of it.
And then chucks it right to your
Chucks
dick.
the rest of it. Yeah. I mean,
know.
that's
Like
What-
Yeah.
that's like next level mind fuckery. Like I'm like, I didn't even want the banana. I just didn't want you to have it.
I just the look on her face. If a human person could really have a twinkle in their eye, an
We should
evil
have.
twinkle in their eye,
We should have
it was
added
her.
a
Because I
Davy
remember I'm
Jones,
like,
monkey twinkle.
it was there, even if there wasn't a graphic to show it, because
Yeah.
she's
Yeah.
got this look, and you're like, wow. I mean,
But that's science, that framing, and like it's science, it's the actors, it's using that weird basement at Bobby Mackey's that we did not set deck. That is just how it looked.
Yeah.
Like, and then with the colors that we were wearing, again, that costuming, that's more of a pat on my back, but just how everyone looks in that scene. I love that final the end is near, where we're coming down that tracking shot, almost Scorsesean, like country Bobby Vinton coming around the corner there, and like Timmy, like Jerry is so wide-eyed. He's so happy to be like, "Oh man, show me what you've been doing." And then I'm just like, "Oh no, I gotta like it's of mice and men." Like it is such a George Lenny moment, but Bobby is not. He's not smarter than Jerry. Like,
Well, and as an actor, I really appreciate because Nick Hyens does such a great job of like explaining to us what he's trying to get, so
Yeah.
that we can also like work together. Because sometimes, I mean, you know, you're acting in a fake room with fake feelings with fake stuff, and you're like, what are we going for here? And I don't know what my body's doing. Do you need me
and
to turn
also,
a certain
when
way?
does this happen in the movie?
Yes.
Where am I at on the chart to like 1 to 10? If I am Laddie, who's being elevated by her usual costumes and hair, like in this moment as the killer, like you hadn't gone through that track as the killer,
Yeah.
really, because we did all that stuff I think in one day. So Eileen is very diligent to be like, where am I at this character at this moment? And we're like, okay, this happens before this. Did we already film that? No. Or yes. And then she goes, okay, in that
He
we're
famously
like
doesn't read the script until the day of shooting. It's incredible.
No, it's both of you. I just said this to Allie today. It's so weird. I was like, Timmy and Eileen are so similar and so different. They so much care about the like etymology and just the mythology of who these people are, and it so enriches the dumb to say the stupid shit or the shit
Yeah.
that we do. like what we're doing, like Casually Cool, the Rockford Files comedy.
Oh, right. That's what we were supposed to be talking about.
No, look, I love talking about
we're-
Sweetmeats.
We're over an hour in and haven't actually discussed the movies you came to promote.
No. But it was a not on purpose segue. It is just to say how they enrich the presentation of these tropey characters, which when people think that Sweetmeats is weird, I'm just like, oh, based on the stuff I've been watching, this is just an amalgamation of characters that my dad has shown me through Burt Reynolds movies and like Southploitation and blah, blah, blah. And so with Casually Cool, I'm just like, okay, we're going to do.
Who could that be knocking on our door? It's an old pal of the show, Ricky Glore. And he's brought friends, whatever for. What do all these cats really have in store? I bet it's the new projects they want to talk about. Casually Cool and truly, Troy, you know